So y'all may remember on page 17 of the Discoverers, it talks briefly about the Babylonian gods and the Babylonian view on the gods. And I just thought it was interesting, so I did further research on it, and this is what I prepared my speech on. So basically, I'm going to tell you what the Babylonians viewed as the gods and basically how they thought the earth was created. So let's start with the first god, basically the father of all the gods, Apsu, god of water. So basically, Apsu represented fresh water, and he was in union with this goddess named Tiamis, and she represented salt water. And basically, the earth wasn't created yet, but they basically just both existed in balance with each other, and their waters just churned against each other, and it was just everything was balanced and everything was good until they had kids, but I'll get into that later. But basically, he was one of the first gods, being called the father of all the gods. However, he was not a great father, because when his kids were born, he became jealous of their power and tried to kill them. But yeah. And then there's Tiamat, goddess of salt water and chaos. So as you can see here, she's kind of scary looking. But basically, she was the goddess of salt water, and as I said before, she basically had a union with Apsu. They were kind of married, I guess, but they were just both balanced because she was chaos and he was kind of calm, and then the universe was just completely balanced. But then they ended up having kids, and basically Apsu got jealous of these kids and he wanted to kill them. But then his kids ended up killing him. And then what happened after that is everything was just thrown completely off balance. And she turned from just this, she was still kind of chaotic, but she turned into this monster of chaos that was threatening to destroy pretty much the whole world after Apsu died. So you may be wondering, which one of their kids killed Apsu? Well, it was Ea, god of wisdom. So Ea is often associated with wisdom and fish, as you can see by his little fish hat here. And he ultimately played a giant role in the cosmos of the gods. He was the one who killed Apsu. And as I discussed before, Apsu got jealous of him rising to power and tried to kill him, but then Ea killed him instead. And then Tiamat basically threatened to destroy the entire cosmos. But Ea's son, Marduk, ended up getting in this giant battle with Tiamat. So basically, he was just this young hero, and he was the son of Ea, and he approached Tiamat and wanted to battle her. And so they had this long heroic battle. It's discussed in the religious texts they had at the time in much detail, and it went on for a very long time. But basically, the final blow was when he shot a bow and arrow, and he basically split Tiamat in two. And then one of her halves became the heavens, and then one of her halves became the earth. And basically, that's how the Babylonians thought that the heavens and the earth were created. So you may be wondering, why does this matter? Well, you can really look at it and see how the Babylonians viewed things as a society. So they thought that time was cyclical, which means it's orderly and repeats itself. This is apparent in the mythology that they believed, because they believed everything was in order and was in balance and everything. And another thing, to see it through a Christian lens or whatever, basically you can really view this through a Christian lens, and you can see how we all have a void in our chest that we all need God, and we fill it in other ways when we truly only need God. So you can really see how the Babylonians viewed society and viewed religion through their view of the gods. And basically, this is my presentation. So thank you for listening.